Hey you guys, it's Jess. Welcome to my channel. I figured I would jump on here and do a fun look for you guys with my current obsession, the NARS Skin Deep Palette. I know it's a little pricey, but in my opinion, 100% worth it. The shadows are so beautiful, so blendable. The shimmers are gorgeous. If you are a girl who loves, a girl or a guy who loves those neutral toned, just everyday shadows, so worth it. If you want to see how that goes, just keep watching. Thanks. All right, everyone. So I am going to start with my base. I usually always start with my base. I feel like my skin is pretty prepped with my skincare today, so I'm not going to go in with a primer. I'm just going to go right in with my foundation. I have been loving this again, the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I know I am in the shade Snow. I know they have since come out with two lighter shades, but I do find Snow works pretty decently for me, especially now that we're going into spring, summer months. I will get about a half shade darker. I don't really get that tan. Even if I spend a ton of time at the lake, I just drench my face in sunscreen. SPF is my best friend. So yeah, and I just work in sections, and I'm going to go in with my It Brushes for Ulta, the Velvet Luxe Foundation, number 302. If you've never felt these brushes, walk into your nearest Ulta. Oh my goodness, they're like buttery, soft velvet, as the name describes them. I'm obsessed with them. And I just work in sections and then blend it in. I like to start out by just kind of pouncing my brush in. I don't do the big buffing. I find that with this foundation, you don't need to do lots and lots of like Buffy. Oh my goodness. Did you guys love that show growing up? I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I know, I'm a dork. My sister and I were obsessed with it. We probably have seen every episode like way too many times. I was very emotionally attached to that show growing up. I was obsessed. So you'll have to let me know. Did you also love Buffy the Vampire Slayer as much as I did? Who am I kidding? I still love that show. If it comes on like TV or rerun, I will totally watch it. I love that show. It was an oldie, but a goodie. So yeah, as you see, that foundation just really helps tone down all of my redness. If you've never tried it, I know it's an older foundation, but if you've never tried it, I love it. I really loved it when I had oily skin. But even now that I have more normal dry skin, I find that if I moisturize my skin very well, it still looks beautiful. It's more of a natural matte. It's not a matte, suck the life out of your face, make you look like you're 50. Not that 50 is old. My mother is like 55 and still looking beautiful. But you know what I mean. It doesn't age you like 30 years. Wow, 50 is not even 30 years for me. I'm about to be 30. But it's just a more natural satin matte. As long as you prep your skin. If I don't prep my skin well, it definitely is more drying. Now, as you can see, I do still have some redness peeking through. I don't like to build up any foundation to super full coverage. I save that for concealer. I find that when I build up too much foundation, it just looks cakey and really heavy on my skin, especially if you have more textured, drier skin. I could exfoliate for days and I'll still have a little texture. So I like to go in with my favorite. This is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and I'm in the shade Light 2 Vanilla. I find this is just the absolute perfect, and I'm going in with my beauty blender, the perfect blemish, spot, anything, you name it, redness peeking through. It perfectly covers everything. I literally use it every time I do my makeup. I can't be without it. And just go over any of those blemishes that I have, any of that redness that's still peeking through. And because I'm feeling real extra today, I am going to go in with 2 different concealers under my eyes. I love the Maybelline Age Rewind. I feel like it's so hydrating and kind of brightens just that darkness under my eyes. The older I get, the more of those lovely under eye bags I get, and with all of that purplish tone. But I find that this does a pretty great job of hydrating that area. I do have some fine lines, and you know, as you age, you get a couple fine lines, and there is no magic eye cream that's just going to totally erase them. You can do all you want, but you know, you're still gonna have them, and just love it. But I love that because it hydrates, so things don't sink into those fine lines. And then I go in with the good old trusty Tarte Shape Tape, and this is the shade Fair. I alternate between Fair and Fair Beige. Doesn't really matter to me. This one is a little more neutral toned. Fair Beige is a little more pink toned. I prefer the Fair Beige, but this is just what I have out right now. And I find that it works well because the Illuminator shade is, I mean, essentially pink. And then this is more neutral, so it evens itself out. I do have a little bit of a cooler undertone, more neutral cool. I find that I get more neutral the older I get. But more cool toned shades generally look a little better on myself. And then I do just like to bring that kind of on my eyes too to cancel out. You can see that I have those little veiny veins that I like to get rid of. And then I'm just gonna blend that in with my Beauty Blender again. And I do find under the eye, go in with a gentle pat. You don't want to be rough with your under eye area. That skin is very delicate. And I just find the 2 of those combined is just such a beautiful combination. It covers everything I want it to cover. And I do bring it down into this area where I do get a lot of redness. And they just make everything look beautiful. Like, you know, maybe I slept for a full 8 hours, because who does that? And yes, you do have to make the face when blending concealer. It just makes it go on better. I mean, seriously, if you don't do that, who are you? I don't know. And I'm just gonna do the same with this eye. Next, I'm gonna set my under eyes. I do find that it's just a little bit tacky. That Maybelline is a little bit more tacky, obviously, because it's more hydrating. So I'm going in with my Real Techniques setting brush. And then I set with my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I love this powder. If you are super fair like myself, you know how hard it is to find a setting powder that doesn't make your makeup look darker. This is, I mean, as you can see, it's just it looks white in the jar. It doesn't come off white on your skin. Now, if you're darker complected than, you know, super pasty like myself, it might look a little too white on you. I just tap off the excess. I don't like to get a ton. And just lightly set that area. I don't like to put a ton of powder under my eyes, but as you can see, it doesn't add any more darkness under there, and it perfectly sets. So if you struggle to find setting powders that work for your fair skin, give this a try. I know it has, you can see kind of little sprinkles of glitter in there. It doesn't show up on my face. I mean, I can never find glitter on my face. I mean, can you? But I don't know, it's like magic. You put the powder on and the sparkle just disappears, because I'm not one that wants to have a glittery under eye. So next I am going to go into some brows, because as we can see, you know, my 2 brow hairs need a little bit of help. So I'm going in with the trusty Anastasia Brow Wiz in Taupe. If you would like to see a tutorial on how I do my eyebrows for ladies with 2 brow hairs, leave me a comment, let me know. I'd be happy to do this. I'm gonna fast forward through this. And there are the brows finished. Alrighty, I am going to go in with my favorite new palette right now. I'm obsessed with this. I do find, I mean, I'm a neutral girl on an everyday basis. I'm not wearing fun, crazy colors. This is what just, it screams Jess, right? I'm going to go in with the shade, this Taupe color right here. Sorry, I didn't mean to blind you. It says the names on the back, but I never know which shade goes with what. When they put it on the back, like just put the names on the front, please. Help me out. And I'm taking my Morphe M504, tap off the excess. As you can see, there is a lot of excess, but I don't find that I get a lot of fallout underneath the eyes. These blend so amazing. I do have slightly hooded eyes. They're not terribly like hooded eyes, but I do, you can see I have that little fold over it, which makes eyeshadows a little bit more challenging, but I found some good tricks that really help. So because I do have that, I'm gonna make my own fake crease, and I'm gonna keep my eye open for this because obviously when you're looking at people, you're not walking around like with your eyes closed. So keep your eye open and start to create that faux crease, if you will. And I'm holding further back on the ferrule. I find that when I do that, I get a much more diffused, blown out look. It really helps get a very smooth transition, and because you're not applying too much pressure. If I hold further up, I get a lot more pressure and precision. I want this to be a transition shade, so I'm holding further on the ferrule to get that very blown out transition. Now, once I've got that, you know, in my faux crease, I'm gonna go in my actual crease, and that's when you can kind of close your eyes to get right up in under that lovely fold of mine. And I'm just going to build up that intensity to my little heart's content. Then I'm going to take a smaller blending brush. This is my lovely Sigma, my Sigma E40. As you can see, it's slightly smaller. So I'll get a little bit more of a precise blend with this one, which is what I want. Next, I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's the one right next to the yellow. It's kind of a terracotta brown taupe. I don't know how to explain it. It's gorgeous. I mean, look at that. It's so beautiful. I love it. And I'm taking my E40 right in there, tap off that excess. And this one I want to go slightly lower in the crease. So this one I blew it out pretty far. This one I want a little bit more precise, so I'm still gonna kind of keep my eye open and wiggle it into that crease. So it's slightly shown when my eyes are open, but not as high up as the other one. So I do suffer, I mean, I have very small eyelids, so the more precise, the better. And I'm still holding pretty far back on the ferrule. Not as far because I want a little bit more precise, but I'm not holding it up to get a lot of detail work. And then just work in little motions with this to kind of place that color where you want it. And then I'm going to start swooping. Really get a diffused blend. You can kind of do the little swirls, and it just gives a very natural blend very easily. I'm gonna go back in with that shade and start placing it sort of on the outer V area, but slightly more in the lid, kind of halfway on the lid, being careful not to bring it past the center of center of my eye. I just want that color on the outer part. Next, I'm going to go in with an even more precise brush. This is my Sigma E25. So as you can see, it's kind of skinnier. It's flat on one end, and then you can turn it and make it skinnier. So it's definitely more precise. There's a little Little leftover, ignore that. I need to wash my brush, clearly. Oh well, live a life on the edge with your dirty brushes. Just kidding. I wash them pretty regularly. These are just due for a wash, but. And then I'm going to take a slightly deeper shadow. I'm gonna go in with this kind of deeper chocolatey taupe. I don't wanna go in with the super deep one, but I want a little bit of dimension in that outer V. So I'm going in with this one over here and taking that E25. Tap off the excess. I don't want a lot of the shade. I just want to put it in that outer V. So I'm going to kind of stamp it on there. And you just want to stamp in that little V area. And then we'll go back in and blend it after that pigment is laid. Then I'm going to lightly, still holding my brush pretty far back, lightly start to take that remainder into the crease just to build a shadow in there and swirl it to make everything nice, smoothly blended. We don't want any harsh lines with this look. And then just take the leftovers, make that shadow. And as you can see, this one can get right in that crease. If you have any kind of hooded eyes, deeper set eyes, this brush will be your best friend. I can do an entire eye look, honestly, with this brush. It is magical if you buy any brush. The Sigma E25, and it's so soft and durable. I mean, I've had this brush for years, and they wash amazing. Sigma brushes are where it's at. So we've just kind of built up that intensity, and then I'm going to take I'm going to turn it so we had it, you know, on the skinny edge, and now I'm going to turn it this way to get a very blended, diffused, blown out line. Next, I'm going to, should I go in with this shade? I'm going to go in with this beautiful copper shade. You guys just wait. I go in with my fingers. I find that fingers work best with these. And I'm going to place it in the center. I'm going to leave that inner corner kind of blank. You'll see and I'm going to leave that for one of the lighter shades. But oh, just look, one pat. Look at that pigmentation. Love it. Just pat that on the lid. Trying to avoid that complete outer edge. We'll blend it together, but I don't want this shadow all the way on that outer edge where we laid that darker brown. But look at that color, guys. I mean, gorgeous. And then I'm going to take a different finger that does not have the beautiful copper and go in with the lighter shade, the one right underneath it. And I'm going to place that on the inner corner part and in the inner like tear duct area to brighten that area up. And start to blend it together. And then to make sure everything is very well blended, I'm going to go back in with my Sigma E40 and just lightly go over everything to make sure it is nice and blended. I'm not going to do a liner with this look, but I am going to do a faux liner with eyeshadow. I'm gonna go in with the darkest chocolate brown in this palette with my my Morphe M165. It's a corner, it's an angled little definer brush, and I love this because it's angled. It's a little easier for me to get in there. I do have very curled up lashes, so the angle just makes it a lot easier for myself. I'm gonna stamp it in the shadow, stamp, tap off the excess, and just stamp and wiggle at my lash line to deepen that lash line up and give that faux shadow, faux liner effect, not shadow, duh, shadow. Come on, Jess. Losing it today. And then I am going to slightly wing it out. Just kind of stamp it there and bring it in. And then I'm going to go in with that Sigma E25 again and diffuse that edge. And there we have it. Going to do the same thing on this eye. So there you have the finished eye look. I do obviously need to do some mascara, but I like to do that after I set everything with my sprays. So next I'm going to do a little contour. I feel like this eye look is very bold, and the rest of my makeup should also be bold, because why not? So I know, so classy, you guys. Wait till you see this. Are you ready? You ready? This is one of the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette refills. Now, because I'm so fair, I cannot use like 90% of the shades in that palette, so why am I going to spend the money on the entire palette when I'm only going to use this shade? This shade alone, I believe, is like $14 or $15 on Sephora to just buy the refill. They come in these little, you know, plastic things. I know I could put this in a Z palette, but I just, you know, keep it real classy for you guys in the original plastic packaging that's just meant to be tossed away, because, you know, most people put this in a refill palette. But you guys, this color, seriously, perfect, hands down perfect contour shade if you are my color. If you are more neutral cool and you struggle to find a true taupe contour that doesn't look like you're dead, like gray taupe, this, seriously, buy it. It is the color taupe, and you will not regret it. I like to use my another It for Ulta brush. It's kind of shaped like the NARS Ida. This one is just called the Contour, and it came in a set that I bought a few years ago. I don't know, I'm sure you can still find it on Ulta. These brushes are just so soft. If you guys have never felt their It brushes, so soft. And then I just go ahead and dip into the powder, and because I don't like to be super contoured, I dust off a lot of the excess. And then I kind of make another very attractive face to see right where my hollows are, and I go just slightly above that hollow. I don't like to drag my face down. And then ever so lightly, I mean, you can barely see the bristles moving, so ever so lightly dust that onto those contours to make it look like you don't love pasta. Don't tell anyone. It's our secret, right? Makeup hides all of our secrets. At least we can pretend it does. And I mean, as you can see, I'm barely moving the brush just to let the brush do the work ever so slightly and blend up. If you blend down, it'll drag your whole face down. So blend up to make it look like your cheekbones are there because, you know, years of pasta and pizza loving haven't destroyed your face. And then that's the only place I put that taupe color. And then I just use bronzer for the rest of it. So I have been obsessed with my BareMinerals Invisible Bronze in Fair to Light. I do believe there are 3 different shades of this. But again, if you are my shade or anywhere around me, this is the perfect neutral toned bronzer. It leans slightly more cool than any of the other bronzers I own. But still warms up your face nicely. And this one does have a little bit of a shimmer to it. It's not a complete matte, so I do find it just kind of gives your skin that healthy sun-kissed glow, like you've been outside in the sun and it's not a terribly yucky rainy day. So we're gonna pretend it's a gorgeous day and I've been sitting in the sun and, you know, actually have a tan, which, you know, I never do. So let's fake it. And I'm using my favorite bronzer brush of life. And it's a drugstore, so wonderful. This is the Real Techniques blush brush. I don't use it for blush. It's way too big for that, but it is perfect for bronzer. Tap off the excess and just kind of go right on top of that contour and on the high points of your face where the sun naturally hits you. And I just ever so slightly start to build that up. And as you can see, this just has a nice natural sheen to it to give yourself that nice glow. And I do find that I do have to build this one up. It's not instantly like, whoo, bronzer, like some other powders I use, but that's why I love this so much. Especially if you're new to makeup, a beginner, this is the perfect bronzer. And as I said, there are different shades just depending on the depth of your skin. And it works so beautiful. It gives you that beautiful natural finish. And I do like to take it, you know, on the high points of my face, around my, in that typical like C shape. Just, that's what looks the best on my face. I do have a rather large forehead, so anything I can do to kind of make it look a little bit smaller, I'm gonna do. So that means bronzing it up, baby. And then, you know, always gotta hit that double chin. Not that I'm pretty sure it doesn't do anything, but I just do it to make myself feel better, okay? It makes me feel better when I pretend I'm hiding it, even though, I mean, I'm not hiding it. I know this, but humor me, guys, okay? Plus, you know, it just kind of adds a little bit of life into my super pasty self, okay? Alrighty. Next, I'm going to go in with my highlight. I like to do my highlight before my blush. I feel like the blush in the middle just ties everything together. So I'm going to go in with my favorite highlighter of life. If you guys have not tried this, where have you been hiding? This is the Laura Mercier Highlight 01. And sorry, it's all dirty because I use it all the time. This is the perfect highlighter. It looks super boring in the pan, but promise you, just you watch. I take my large Sigma Spotlight Duster of the F37, and with this powder, I do like to bring it just on the high points of my eyebrow. I didn't put any shadow up there, so I like to put a little bit up there just to give that little bit of a glow. And all in that C, I feel like I can bring this one down to the apples of my cheeks, and it doesn't look too intense. This really, truly is a very natural highlighter. You can build it up and build it up and build it up. It never looks powdery. You never have that back pigment that gives you that highlighter stripe. It is the most natural looking highlight that just looks like you are glowing from within. And I like to put a little bit on my forehead to give myself a little bit of extra glow because there's no such thing as too much glow. Next, I'm going to go in with my blush. This is a small size of the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Party. You guys, this blush color, I promise you, if you have neutral, cool undertones and you're super fair like myself, oh my goodness. The perfect nudie, pinky, hint of warmth blush. It is perfect, and I mean, the Amazonian Clay blushes last all day. I don't know why they're not talked about more still. I know they were a huge thing, but you guys, these blushes are still amazing. And this color is just perfect. This is my favorite blush brush. As you can see, it's a little bit dirty. This is the It for Ulta, the Live Beautifully number 227. This blush brush, you guys. And I like to make a, you know, funny smile face, make my cheekbones pop. And I don't like to bring it too far in. I give myself about that 2 finger and just kind of hit it on the high points and blend that bronzer contour, highlight all together. And it just gives the most natural, beautiful flush to tie everything in together. Next, I am going to go in with a lip because, you know, I'll need a little lippy lip. My lips are very, very small, so we need to try and, you know, make them look like I have more than a sliver of lips. So my favorite look My favorite color right now that I've been using so much, and I think it'll look beautiful with this eye look, is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk collection, the lipstick and the liner. These liners, you guys, oh my goodness, I need to buy so many more of them. They are just creamy enough to glide on smoothly, but the lasting power, like, you put them on and they are not leaving. They do not budge. And I like to just kind of work in little strokes and then blend it in with my finger. How's this for a finished look, guys? Leave it like this. Real 90s vibe going on. Just kidding. No, please don't. Don't do that. Going in with the lipstick now, the Pillow Talk lipstick. Now, everyone wears these shades and they look like a beautiful nude on them. When you're the color of paper, it's not nude. If you have a darker skin tone than me, absolutely it'll look like a gorgeous nude. For me, this is a very deep nude. It's kind of like a warm, rosy, pinky, terracotta-y color. I don't know how to describe it, but it shows up very, very different on fair skin. So do beware if you are expecting to buy that gorgeous nude that you always see everyone wearing. It's not nude on me. But this formula, the lipstick and the liner, they last so well through eating and drinking. They are matte, but they're not an uncomfortable matte. Like, I don't feel like my lips are parched by the end of the day, and I can reapply if I need to with just a little thin layer after going out to eat or something, and it reapplies beautifully. So you never have to worry about any of that chunky, yucky, dried out look. So as you can see, that is a very deep nude on me, but I love it. And especially with this eye look, I think it looks very, very cohesive, monochromatic with the blush, the lip, the eye. It goes together well. I can't live without MAC Prep and Prime, of course, to make everything a wet, dewy, gorgeous mess. And I literally drench my face in it to the point where I look like I'm super sweaty and I've been working out a lot. See? Very worked out a sweat putting on this makeup today, y'all. Just kidding. No. And then I kind of fan myself, and because I'm human and I have a very hairy face, I take my sponge and ever so lightly pat down all of that lovely peach fuzz. I know I'm not like blending and buffing like I do, you know, pouncing. Like, I mean very, very gently tapping over that to pat those hairs down. We don't want to disturb any of that makeup that is already on our face. Just want to pat down the mustache, okay? Who else has a mustache? Like, it's there, I promise. And I'm not one of those people who are brave enough to shave their face. I feel like it would grow back really thick and then I'd actually look like I have a mustache, and scary. I do two setting sprays because I'm extra. I can't live without this. I've been using it legit since I discovered makeup in like a high school, but my mom finally started letting me wear makeup. And you know, now look at the problem. The Urban Decay All Nighter, if you spray this, your makeup is not going anywhere at all. And the mist on this is just so fine and beautiful. So I love to use this. It melts everything into place to make it all look very cohesive and glowy, and then this locks it all down. So then my final step is mascara, and I'm using my Clump Crusher by CoverGirl in the water resistant Very Black color. You guys, I'm telling you, if you have not tried this mascara and you are not one who likes clumpy, gross mascaras, just trust me on this one. It's beautiful. I can't live without it. All right, so because I'm extra, you guys, this is my everyday go-to mascara, but I am not a false lash girl. They bug me. I'm terrified when I take them off that I'm just going to rip out all my natural lashes. So if you love your false lashes, that's when I would put them on now. But to give a false lash effect, I layer 2 mascaras. So this is the Lancôme Monsieur Big. And I just add this to the outer part of my lash to give it that false lash effect without actually, you know, taking the time and all of that effort and work to put on falsies. So as you can see, that mascara just adds that extra volume on the outer part without having to do any falsies. So the 2 of them layered together is just like, so glad I found that little combo. It's perfect for me. Alrighty guys, so there we have it. That is the finished look using the NARS Skin Deep palette. I mean, guys, I love this palette. If you are on the fence, buy it. I can do, you know, a really fun going out look like this. I mean, who am I kidding? I would wear this grocery shopping because extra. But you can do a really natural look with this as well, just for an everyday basis, which is why I love it. And these shadows, they blend so beautiful. The shimmers look so wet and beautiful. I don't think you can go wrong with this. I am a kindergarten teacher who obviously is living on a teacher salary, and I don't like to buy things if they're not worth it. And this one I have not put down since I bought it. Totally worth it, you guys, in my opinion. Let me know if you'd love to see a more cool tone look. That Taupe shimmer is also gorgeous on the eyes, and I'd be happy to do that for you as well. I hope you enjoyed this look. I hope you enjoyed my little mini tutorial. And please like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. I am newer to this, so I am dipping my toes into kind of everything. Please let me know. Leave comments down below. Let me know what kind of things you want to see. I am obsessed with makeup and skincare and all things that are beauty. So if you have any requests, please leave them down below and I will be happy to do those for you. I had so much fun filming this with you guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.